answer to a tough theological question for you. And this one is a doozy. Thank you, Anna, for sending this question in, because this is a question that everyone needs to hear an answer from. In fact, this is a question that everyone asks from time to time. Hannah asks, how do we walk with strength and with confidence in a world that is beating us down because of our faith, in a world that is berating us and basically pushing us down just because of following Jesus, or worse, in a world that is trying to sow fear and create disruption and to steal your hope? And Anna, I think you've absolutely nailed the question, because this is where most of the 8 billion people on the world's population live right now. In fact, as I write this, or as I record this video, we're right now in the middle of a presidential election. We're just a couple of weeks away from the day that the next president of the United States will be elected. And what I found fascinating over the past several months, as the campaigns just spun out of control, and they really are out of control right now, everywhere that I look, on every billboard, every radio, every television commercial, every magazine, my text messages are coming in 5, 6, 7 messages a day about why I should vote for one person and not for the other one. And if you were to dissect all of the messaging is not so much vote for this person instead of that person. The messaging is fear. It's creating this fear of, if you let the other person get into office, then the sky is going to fall in and the world is going to come to an end and life as we know it is going to be ruined. So vote for this person instead of that person. And if you take for just a second the political messaging, they're basically saying, we don't have a great candidate, but the other person is far worse. So vote for our candidate just so that the other person doesn't get into office. And that's exactly what both political parties, the entire billions of dollars of advertising, is saying about both political parties right now. Do you know why they can use that type of language really effectively? Because that's where a lot of people on the world's population live right now. They're living in this constant state of fear. This, what happens if I lose my job? What happens if I lose my health? What happens if I lose my spouse? What happens if something terrible happens? What happens if? And this is where millions, billions of people are right now. It is a constant, relentless assault. And I'm not talking about political advertising. This world that we live in is a constant, relentless assault on your soul. It's trying to cause you to lose faith and give up hope and to turn to despair. So when Anna is asking this question, I think she's asking maybe one of the most important questions of our day. How do you do this without giving in to that fear? And the reason why I call this one a doozy, the reason why this one is really a tough theological question, it's not tough theology, it's tough to put this theology into practice. This one is a doozy because of the relentless assault on your soul. And even when you get a little bit of progress today, tomorrow it feels like you've just taken 1 step forward and 2 steps back. And Anna, I love your language. How do we walk with power, with confidence, with strength? Not our own power, not our own confidence, not our own strength, but how do we walk through this daily journey of life in a world that is trying to cause you to despair and trying to get you to live in fear? And the answer to this question is found very specifically in the Bible. Please don't get mad at me, Anna, but I am just going to tell you exactly what Colossians chapter 3 says. Now, I'm telling you, don't get mad at me, because these verses are extremely easy to read, very simple to understand. A third grader can understand what the Bible is saying here, but you can walk with Jesus for 75 years and still struggle trying to put these verses into practice. And I think these verses answer your question explicitly, Anna. Answer the question that everybody is struggling with out there when the world is pulling you towards darkness and despair, and God is asking you to be a child, a son or daughter of the light. Colossians chapter 3, I'm just going to read 3 verses for you, but all 3 verses are saying the same thing, and this is really simple to do and extremely difficult. Really simple to hear and extremely difficult to do. Here's what Colossians chapter 3, verses 1, 2, and 3 say. If you have been raised with Christ, seek the things above, where Christ is seated at the right hand of God. Set your mind on things above, not on earthly things. And here's why. For you died, and your life is hidden with Christ in God. The reason why this is extremely difficult is because we live in this earthly city, but we belong to this eternal city. By the way, that's what the name 2 cities refers to, an eternal city and an earthly city. We live on this earthly city, but we belong to an eternal city. And what the Bible is saying is if you're not careful, you're going to spend all of your time and energy on what you can see, hear, touch, taste, and feel, on the things of this world. And those things are all pulling you towards darkness and despair. How do you break that grip? Well, Colossians chapter 3 is giving a very simple, extremely difficult answer. You stop focusing on what you can see and touch and hear and taste and smell. And you start focusing on the world that you can't see, touch, taste, smell, or feel, but it is every bit as real. In fact, maybe more real than this world that we live in. And the more that you start to get a hold of the above world, the more that you let go of this below world, the more that you start to live in the earthly city, the less hold, the more that you start to live in the eternal city, the less hold this earthly city has on you. And Colossians reminds you, you died to this world and all of the things that this world offers you, to include the fear and the hopelessness and the despair and all of the ugly things that this world offers. You died to all of that. And your soul, your eternity, your future belongs in heaven. So why don't you stop looking behind you at the world that you've already died to and start looking before you at the world that's waiting for you. And then you will start to walk with confidence. And what people are going to see, Anna, is a young woman who is able to walk through the midst of scary circumstances without giving in to despair. She's going to be able to, you'll be able to walk through the middle of tragic circumstances and difficult environments, and you'll be able to do it with this rock solid hope that Jesus Christ has got you in the palm of his hand and that you will be with him in eternity. And that's where your power, that's where your confidence, that's where your security comes from. I beg you, please don't try to pull this one off on your own, because you're not good enough. I'm not good enough. There has never been a human being on earth that's good enough to pull this off on their own. You need supernatural help if you want to live that kind of secure, strong, confident life in a world that is pulling you towards darkness and despair. So this doozy of a theological question that we're talking about today is, how do you live with confidence in a world that's beating you up and berating you? And you do it by letting go of this world and grabbing a hold of the world to come. Thanks for your question, Anna. A lot of people, myself included, needed to be reminded of this. God bless.
Now, I can work with a guy like that.